And to everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice, this is the day that the Lord has made. And what we gonna do? We're gonna rejoice and be glad in it. Well, I tell you, on today, it's always a pleasure to talk to change agents that's truly making the change that we need to see in this community. One thing about this community, we have people that love our community. And when I think about this couple, to me, they're the power couple that is working together to change the trajectory of things in our community. And that's what we got to do, y'all. We got to link up with people that have a heart for God and also have a heart to move the needle in our community. And who am I talking about, y'all? Serving others well. So you got a community outreach. A president and board chair is none other than my alumni that's always doing great things. Is Berlon Street. I don't know why I said Street. What do me? Berlon Street, y'all. And then his beautiful wife, the executive director, Rachel Street. She's a teacher of 22 years of the Memphis Shelby County Schools. That means she really do care about our young people, y'all. Their mission is to serve, nurture, and transform the lives of at-risk youth and their families. And so you help me welcome the Soul Team, Soul Community Outreach, serving others well. Hello there, fam. How are y'all?
Hey, how are you? Good to be here.
It's good to have y'all. I've been seeing your work for so long, and I'm just excited that we get to showcase your work on our show. So, Rachel, I'm gonna start with you, Queen. Tell the people, who are you, honey? Who you be?
Well, like you said, I'm a teacher here in Memphis Shelby County Schools. I started when it was actually Memphis City Schools, so I've been around for a while. Right now, I'm at Sherwood Middle, and I teach reading there for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. And I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Pretty much, I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. So I'm just me.
Yeah.
Pretty much quiet and.
We're making it happen. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. B.
Yes,
Berlon Street. Tell people, who are you, B, baby?
I'm Berlon Street. If you don't know me,
They got big in Memphis.
Right.
as my wife said, if you don't know me, you hadn't been in Memphis. But hey, I'm just a guy that loves working with people, working with our youth. Started at youth villages, working with youth. Then went to juvenile court. I worked there in lockup, and then I went to Memphis City Schools, which became Shelby County Schools, and where I met my lovely wife at
Sheffield Elementary, yeah.
I remember.
Ooh, y'all see that love trace? I remember. I love it. So here you are now. You meet your wife, your life partner that will really share the same visions and ideas that you have, and then you guys decided to start a nonprofit by the name of Serving Others Well, acronym SOAP Community Outreach. So how did the organization get started?
So it actually started in 2021, right after COVID, just in a little bit after COVID. We were virtual at Sherwood Middle. We had to do a club. It was called the Soul Kindness Club. So that's a club that I just wanted the kids to be able to, just be kind to one another.
Yes.
So I started that club, and from that club I had a student, and he was actually my student virtually. And I started with him in 6th grade. He was a student who didn't really get to log on and come to class a lot. He missed a lot of days, and so I just asked him one day, I said, so what's going on? How can I help you be able to make it to class and log on a little bit more than what you're doing right now? And he just told me that, he has a lot to do. He has to take care of his siblings. He was with his grandparents. So he was just kind of pretty much, trying to handle and navigate as a child a grown-up's responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, if I give you a call in the mornings and just kind of wake you up, I said, will that help you? He said, yeah. So I did. The next day I called and he logged on. So we did that and we made it through that. Of course, he still missed some days. But after that, we came back into the building. Of course, I got to see him in person. We talked throughout the day. He was no longer actually in my class because it was the next year. So he came back and, we talked and, I tried to give him encouragement and things like that. So finally, he navigated out of Sherwood Mill and he went to high school. And so one day I got a call saying that he had been killed. And it really affected me. So I was just thinking, to myself, what else could I have done to help him? Because it was, what he was killed and he was left there. And this child was a really good child. He had a lot of potential. He just didn't know how to navigate outside of his circumstances and surroundings. So I just said, I just had to think to myself, what else can I do? So that was what I said. I got to reach beyond the classroom, beyond the walls of the school building and go into the community and, and try to do more on the outside because we have them inside, but we have to release them and we need more people on the outside that's going to be there for them. So that's how community outreach.
But actually, there was another component that, one of my fraternity brothers reached out to me and we were talking about starting a nonprofit. And so we were talking about it, how, we could actually reach the kids because we both have worked with kids for so many years.
Yeah.
And with that component, I shared it with her and we sat down and talked with him about it. And so she went back to that club idea and used that name to start the organization because we were going to do we were just trying to we were puzzled over what name to call it, and that's what name she came up with. So we rolled with that.
What I think about as an educator, as a teacher, people don't understand, if you've never worked in the school system, how quickly you can come attached to a student. I served in the school system very short-lived, and they were laughing at me. They would say, Franklin, these kids gonna be driving your car before it's over. Because I was like, well, they just need this and they just need this. So I know how easy you can find yourself engulfed because you know where these children, you know the struggles that they're having to get to that place called school. Because many of them are trying to be providers, they're trying to be step-in parents, they're trying to fill in the gap. And so thank you for what you're doing. And then I think about, I was literally reading over your mission, being that you can really help me on this. And you said you want to serve the nature and transform the lives of at-risk youth and their families, because you guys recognize it's just not the kids.
That's it.
It's a whole. Kind of tell me how you guys came about with the mission that impactful.
Well, that thinking about that, and she'll share the mission, but to think about that village.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to get back to. There's so many things that's going on, and people are trying to figure out. Like I said, when I worked in juvenile court, I saw the kids. Some kids were fly. Some kids were pretending to be gangsters, this, that, and other. But some were really living their life that they had to provide for their family. But what we have to do is bring that component back. We want to help you out, but there's some consequences to your actions.
Yes.
So you have to understand it. So with and you'll talk about it later, our Voice to Men program, we focus in because it has to be a man, not only just a mother. There has to be a man because there's a missing component in that. You want to share a mission?
Yes, I'll continue on. It is to serve, nurture, and transform the lives of the youth and their families. So, one, to serve, we want to be able to do what we can to, on a daily basis, just to offer ourselves to them, offer the people who work with them, just whatever it is that they're needing, just a listening ear, whatever it is, we just want to be able to give it to them. And so as we talk about nurturing, we don't want to be jumping in and out of their lives. We don't want to just have them for a couple of weeks. We want to have them long term. So the goal is to just, if the babies start with us young, we know our kids are very transient, but we want to be able to continue to hold on to them. Even if they go to another school, we want to have avenues where they can still connect with us so that we can sow into them each and every day. And that's just nurturing, like you water the plant, it needs sun, it needs water. The kids need love.
Yeah.
They need care. They need different things that they need. So we want to nurture that so that those things that are in them, those things that we know that they have greatness in them, they just got to have a little bit extra to kind of help them to see it.
Yes.
And to recognize it and to see what could be in the future. So that's the part of the nurturing and transforming. It's just like what it says, to change their lives, not only their lives, but their families' lives. To let them know that their circumstances don't have to define who they are, where they are, or where they're going. Because we came from, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to this too, we all come from situations where it may not have been just exactly what we wanted it to be, but somebody reached in and they showed us a different way. So we want to be able to do that so that we can show these babies another path, and that they can build a strong, healthy life for themselves and for their families.
I love it. And so how will the goals and your values of the organization affect students and their families? I know you said you hold on to them, but what's the 3 to 5 year plan? Because 3 to 5 years, if you get them in middle school, they're possibly out of school into college. But what's your 3 to 5 year plan to make sure we don't lose those children?
So one of the things is, because right now we're operating out of 6 different schools for the Boys to Men program, and 2 different schools for the Raising Queens program. But being able to catch them like on the middle school level, because we have high schools and we have middle schools. We have 3 high schools and we have 3 middle schools. We're at Sherwood Middle, we're at Cummings K-8, but we work with the middle school kids. We're at Hickory Ridge Middle, we're at Melrose High, we're at Middle College High, and that's where I really got my first start with Dr. G and Miss Easton over there. They are amazing with their mentor program over there. My frat brother Stan Bell made the recommendation for him, for Dr. G to reach out to me to be a mentor. That was even before got started. As well as Kirby High. So catching them on the front end, like 6th graders, and we just follow them through, and then on the 9th grade level, and we just follow them on through high school, because like we're at Sherwood, that's a feeder school to Melrose. So we catch them. I had 2 kids come in the first week we were over at Melrose. Said, "Are you following me?"
Like,
I said, "You follow me right on over here." I said, and I'm gonna keep on following.
And that, but I'm sure that child said, "Man, that's a man that didn't drop me," because a lot of our children, especially in our inner city schools, they're used to people dropping them, right? And they're used to saying, "Hey, I care for you," but then I go to another school, you don't hear from me, and you didn't drop them. So you probably don't know the impact that you made on him, for him seeing you and say, "Man, there go a black man that said you weren't gonna leave me. He really didn't leave me. He rolled over to me." So thank you. You've always been. I remember even in high school with me and your brother Tony, you were always being that shining light. So you've been that light man. But I want y'all to tell us about the urban community garden that's in the mound. Y'all call it Orange Mound, but I just call it the mound. But tell us about the urban community garden in the mound.
Look, this is her baby, so I'm gonna share more about that baby.
And I've been hearing it since the mound.
But you gotta know the mound, don't play.
As G.A. Hardaway said, three up and down and 3 for the average. Right.
But we did get a property over in the mound, in Orange Mound, in June, the end of June. So we are just so thankful that the door has been opened, that we do have a community garden that we're going to be able to get the community involved in. We want the children who we serve, and even the kids who just may not even be in the schools that we're in, but they're
Join the rhythm and feel the beat in our community where we're all complete. With Dr. Telisa, let's take a stand. Together we'll grow hand in hand.
From the
Dr.
roots of history
Show.
to dreams we chase, Dr. Talisa Franklin shines a light on every face. In
At
every
the Dr.
heartbeat,
Telisa
there's a
Show.
story to tell. Gotta keep the culture celebrated as we excel here at the Dr. Talisa Show.
Conversations, we got to have boots on the ground, or hey, we got to have the boots in the streets, y'all. We got the streets in the house today on the Dr. Telisa Show that is really about doing the work, serving others well, soul community outreach. And the streets are here to tell us all about it. And I'm telling you, I've learned so much more. And I know you probably said, Telisa, you got to tell me how can I get involved. Just hold a minute. Wait a minute. Let the streets tell us a little bit more stuff they doing in the streets. And I'm going to tell you why, all right? And so here we are, Mr. and Mrs. Street. You guys are doing the work with soul. And I'm so impressed with it. But what age group do you folks? Because I know somebody's saying, can my child do it? My niece or my nephew? So now I'm going to answer the questions for y'all. What age group?
We work with kids from ages 8 to 18.
Okay.
And their families. So it really is ongoing.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
I love it. And so what are you presently implementing? Because you tried to sneak it, but I need to wait for the Boys to Men and the Raising Queens program. Tell me about these programs, because you know I'm loving this Raising Queens. Now, I do like that, right? But tell me about the Boys to Men and all that good stuff.
So our goal is social emotional skills and social emotional learning. So we do circles and we sit down and talk to the young men, and we do we check their temperatures, and we just kind of feel where they are, and we want to talk about things that they're dealing with at home, at school, in life, that we may be able to help them reach those goals. So
yes.
we're talking about principles for nonviolent conflict resolution. So we want to be able to give them those principles, and give them solutions to those problems. And the key is not for us just to constantly feed them.
Yes.
It's for them to get involved, speak to their other peers that they may be able to go, hey man, can't do that.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to do this, we have to do that, because that's one of the things we want them to get, to be able to be self-sufficient, and they can do it themselves, and they can stop. The thing, because one of the things I want the guys to understand, we have emotions too.
Come on.
As men. So I always ask them when I first get with them, I ask them, have you ever heard the saying, boys not supposed to cry?
Yes.
Boys, suck it up, be tough. We can. But we have to realize, because what ends up happening, we end up getting with women that feed into the same thing, teaching our kids, hey, you're supposed to suck it up, and you're supposed to cry. But what point are we supposed to show our emotions? Then women start to believe that men don't have emotions. We do. We have feelings. We deserve to be cared for, just like women.
Absolutely. And I agree, because I hate to hear when people say men are supposed to cry. That's a lie. God created tear ducts for a reason. So he didn't feel like you should cry, he would have gave you no tear ducts, right? And so I'm grateful that you share with those men, because a lot of those men have those built up emotions. And because they've been taught they can't cry, then they act out in other ways to release that pain that they're feeling inside, and versus saying, let me cry this out, let me get a good cry out, and let me rinse myself out, then I'll be okay for tomorrow. But talk about this Raising Queens, queen.
Well, we're pretty much doing the same thing as Boys to Men. We're trying to give them skills that they need and strategies that they can use to cope every day. Sometimes we can be a little bit over the top with some of the things that we do. I'm trying to teach the girls to empower one another, and just continue to empower and lift one another up. So trying to teach them, and it's even with the guys, different ways that they can communicate, different communication styles. What communication style do you have, and how does that communication style affect your relationships every day?
Yes.
So what is the most effective way to communicate with people? So that's what we're out trying to teach them, how to communicate, because sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say those
Absolutely.
things. It can either blow something up, or it can bring something down.
Uh-huh.
The way that you say things. So we're trying to in both Raising Queens and Boys to Men, trying to get them to see that so that they can begin to know themselves, they can self-regulate and self-manage themselves. With the girls, and even with the boys, we know that strong individuals, healthy individuals make strong families,
Exactly.
strong communities, strong cities, and strong world. So, yes. So that's what we're trying to just build healthy individuals in both the Boys to Men and the Raising Queens program. And we get them involved in community service. Community service is a big component. We get the parents involved as well. They're welcome to come. So we've done fed the homeless. We've did community cleanup at Orange Mound.
And actually, the mayor, Mayor Young, walked along with the kids in Orange Mound and picked up trash.
Yeah.
Mary Young is amazing. He's
He's
amazing.
right there with them.
Yeah, I try to tell people, and I think we talked about it when we were there. You know, so many people are trying to make him Superman. There's no Superman. That's fantasy.
Yes.
It's not reality. So we all have to be the part of the change we want to see.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that the task force is here, that is bringing about change, and we have to embrace change. So a lot of times, as people, the things we don't know, we demonize it, we make it evil, we make it wrong. But sometimes you just have to sit back and watch. And sometimes you have to get involved. If you want to see change, you have to be that change.
And one thing, when you said be that change, I'm excited that then, now, and forever, people can know that you guys are going to be those changes that we want to see in our communities, because we need to see community change as a whole. And so even with that, we can see all these things that we're doing for the children, but tell us how you're really working with the parents.
So every first Saturday of the month, and anybody can attend. You know, they have to go to our website, but you can just show up. But every first Saturday, Orange Mound Community Center, from about 10:45 to about 11:30, we have parenting workshops.
Okay.
And we will bring in resources. So we're building it out with our students and their families, but the whole city is invited to come out, because there are so many components with being a parent that we need. We need financial literacy. We need jobs. There are so many components to being a parent, because all of us, when we became parents, no clue.
Right.
And I think our parents had no clue, but now that you have an opportunity and you have resources, and then we have to come together as a community and make a holistic view of the resources that we have. And we have other partners that we work with in the community that will bring in resources and be resources that will help the community be this village that we need to see.
Absolutely. And even with that, we know you're working with the children in the school, you're working with the parents, and definitely I encourage y'all, parents in classes, you can't never get too many of those, right? But there is another thing that you guys are doing, is reaching beyond those. You're going to juvenile court, because we know that there are some children that has made some poor choices. And just because they made some poor choices don't mean we throw them away. That means we need to figure out ways to do better to help them. You know, that's a lot of the conversations that Judge Sugarman and myself have, is how do his office, how are they doing to make sure, from the mental health components to all components, that when these children just don't age out of 18, they continue with the life of crime versus they've gotten what they need. So tell me, what are your influence, or what are you guys doing in the juvenile court
Well, like
system?
I said, you know, I that's where I came from. I worked there for about 8-9 years.
Okay.
And I spent a lot of time there in juvenile court and seeing a lot of different changes. The first young man that was 13 years old, I remember like it was yesterday, that got bound over for murder, cried like a baby in his cell. And he told me, he's in the street, I don't know why. And those demons tormented him day and night. So young people, if you're out there and someone's trying to convince you that you need to do this and you ain't gonna serve that much time, them demons gonna serve all that time that they're trying to convince you that you're not gonna serve, because they gonna get you, they gonna eat you up. So I actually sat down with Judge Sugarman about a month or so back, and we had a conversation about it, and we just signed a agreement with a partnership with Juvenile Court. So we'll be going in, the kids that are doing probation, Miss Fuller, one of my former coworkers, but she's over probation, and we'll be working directly with her and some of the other components with Juvenile Court. And we have a component with SOUL, it's called LIVE.
Okay.
And it's an acronym as well.
I'm sure.
You want to share that acronym?
It stands for Life is Valuable.
Oh, that's good.
So with that, it's just trying to teach the kids, because most of the time they don't see the value in someone else's life.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the things that they do, whether it's taking a life or robbing or whatever it is that they're doing to negatively impact somebody else, they don't see past that.
Yeah.
They don't understand how it impacts that person. It's like a ripple effect. It not only impacts that person, but it impacts their family.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on down. So just wanting the kids to understand that everybody's life is valuable, and that through the garden, we want them to be able to see that the seed is valuable and how it grows, and that we all start off as a seed, and our life grows, and we belong to somebody. We have a mom, we have a dad, we have a sibling, and our life is important to somebody.
Yeah.
So they need to understand that it's just not a life that they're taking, but they're taking a whole family's life.
Yes.
So that's what the program is about. Just getting them to be able to understand that, and just working with them every day to just help them develop those positive character traits that they need every day, and let them know that change is possible.
I love it.
And so the key to that is not only are they the ones that's doing community service hours, we're still mentoring at the same time. So not only are they just coming here to work, but they're getting guidance, and they're getting valuable lessons that will stick with them for the rest of their life.
I love it. How can people support your organization, whether it's volunteerism or donation? Tell me how they. I gotta make sure we get that in.
Okay. They can go to our website.
Okay.
Our website is SOWLoveProject.org. Let's say it one more time. SOWLoveProject.org. And they also can find us on Facebook and Instagram under Sowing, SOWING, the number 4 change.
I love it. Sewing for Change on Facebook and Instagram, and then you can go to the website and make sure that you support. Is there anything that anybody want to thank before we?
Well, right before we get to thanking, so also we have another where they can donate monthly.
They can go, if they go to the Instagram page and the Facebook page, if they click on the little links, there is another link within there that's the Give Butter link.
Okay.
Where they can go on there and sign up if they'd like to be a recurring donor. And if they just want to donate one time, they can donate there as well. So yes, just click on the link.
So y'all, let's make sure that we support these endeavors of the streets, because they're really about the work. I gotta ask you this before I jump off, because I ask all of my guests this, because in order for us to move the needle in the community, I think that we all need to have a voice, right? Yes. And so what would be the one word that you would describe community, and what would be the other word you all would describe culture, and then we see how we put those words together.
Community.
Yeah.
Impactful.
Impactful. And what would be the word you would use for culture?
Positive.
Yes. So you're telling the audience, in order for us to move the needle in there, because we got to continue to have those positive conversations that's going to.
Join the rhythm and feel the beat in our community where we're all complete. With Dr. Telisa, let's take a stand. Together we'll grow hand in hand.
From
at
the
Dr.
roots of
Telisa
history
Show.
to dreams we chase, Dr. Talisa Franklin shines a light on every face. In
At the
every
Dr.
heartbeat,
Telisa
there's
Show.
a story to tell. Gotta keep the culture celebrated as we excel. Here at the Dr. Telisa Show.